Okay, everybody. Okay. Did you all hear me? If you could hear me, give me a thumbs up. Who's ready to go? Give me a thumbs up if you could hear me. Could you hear me out there? Okay, I see Marie Evans could hear me. Maria. Okay, it's great, great, great to see everybody. Depending on where you're at this afternoon, this evening, depending on whether you're in Pacific time, Mountain time, Central time, Eastern time, or some other time. But I can tell you what time it is tonight. It's Sunrock time. And what that means is we're going to be rocking it tonight. And I am so excited for all the content that we have tonight, all the speakers that we're bringing in tonight. And let me just ask you, who are you most excited about? You've seen the speaker lineup. You're here because you've seen our ads or you've gotten our email blasts. So let me just ask you, who are you most excited about seeing tonight? Blow up the chat. Oh my God, Brad Sumrock. I love it. I love it. You guys are just too kind. You guys are just too good to me. It's crazy. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Kiyosaki, Tom Wheelwright, Brad, Robert, Brad. I love it. Fred Van Loo, Brad Sumrock. I love it. Fred Van Loo. We got Kiyosaki. Let's see who else. All right, this is going to be great. I'm super stoked about tonight, about everything we're going to cover. So by the way, this is not going to be a typical Zoom meeting that I do for 45 minutes to an hour, because we have a bunch of speakers on. So I hope you guys have set aside 2 hours plus. Okay, how many of you have set aside 2 hours plus for tonight? If you set aside 2 hours plus, blow up the chat. And if you haven't, you might want to rearrange your schedule. Go ahead and get yourself some Uber Eats, order that pizza, have your significant other or spouse. No, you know what? They should be on here. Like, y'all should be doing this together. So like, get on your Uber Eats, get on your DoorDash, bring some food in, and let's have dinner together. Okay, let's have dinner. Let's have some San Pellegrino, or some of you might be having a glass of wine tonight. Okay, but we're going to do a lot of stuff. Okay, lots of stuff. So, hey, I have a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm going to be the first speaker. So who's ready? Because I'm ready to dive in. Let's get started. You guys ready? Tell me you're ready. Tell me you're ready. Come on, Jeff. Are you the only one that's ready? Okay, I love it. I love seeing everybody. Love seeing everybody here. And by the way, we have set this up in a meeting format. So y'all should be putting on your cameras, okay? This could be not only a great educational event, not only with great speakers, but a lot of you are going to be coming up to our conference in less than 3 weeks. And so this is a great opportunity to turn on your cameras, be present, start networking with each other, start getting to meet each other, okay? So that when you get to Dallas on August 25th, 6th, and 7th, how many people are coming to our 6th annual Apartment Investor National Conference? If you're coming, just blow up the chat, okay? And if you're not coming, there's still going to be an opportunity for you to come, and I'm going to talk about that, okay? I'm going to talk about that tonight. So you guys and gals could be all meeting each other right now and getting ready, so that when you come in from out of town, and by the way, most of you are coming in from out of town, that you already have met some people. And that way you're not, coming in as a stranger, okay? So I'm super excited about what's going to happen tonight. And we are on a pretty tight timeline, because I got all these speakers that are all coming on one-on-one right after the other, okay? So I'm going to stop talking, and now I'm going to start teaching, okay? So if you guys are ready, I am going to share my screen, and I'm going to pull up my slide deck for tonight. And I am going to start with this. So here's what's going to happen, okay? This should be 2 hours. It might be a little over 2 hours. So I'm budgeting between 2 to 2.5 hours. And just to recap who we're going to hear from, because you guys want to stay till the very, very end, okay? I'm going to start, and I'm going to give you what I call a very quick state of the union about where we're at with apartments and why I think now is a great time to get in. Okay. Then I'm going to bring on Robert Kiyosaki. So he's coming on right after me. Okay. He'll be on, and I'm going to ask him some questions, and we're all going to get to hear the answers together. Okay. Now, one of the things that all of these speakers that are on tonight all have in common is they're all going to be in Dallas in person at our Apartment Investor National Conference, August 25th, 6th, and 7th. So after Robert, we're going to hear from Nick Santanastasso. If you haven't heard from Nick or met Nick before, he's going to be a treat. He's going to blow you away. He blew me away when I first heard him speak. Next up, we're going to have Tom Wheelwright. Tom is associated with the Rich Dad brand for many, many years. He's been the Rich Dad advisor for taxes. He's personally helped me and Jen reduce our taxes from almost $1 million down to zero. 5 years in a row. 2022 will be our 5th year in a row of paying zero tax legally. Next up, we're going to hear from Teresa Todd. Now, Teresa might be new to some of you, but she's very well known in the real estate community nationwide, especially amongst women. And she leads the Women's Real Estate Investor Network, which is a community of thousands of women that are all investing in real estate all over the United States. And then last but not least is going to be powerhouse herself, Jen Sumrock. And Jen's going to deliver a special message that you want to make sure that you stick around for to hear what she's got to say. So this is all going to be going down tonight in the next roughly 2 hours, maybe a little bit more than 2 hours. So hold on to your hats, your seats, whatever you need to hold on to. And let's blast off and get started. Okay. So look, I'm just going to dive right in. One of the biggest questions I get, and I'm going to really drill into like the top 3 or 4 biggest questions I'm getting right now. Okay. And one of them is like, Brad, what is it? You've been teaching and mentoring people for 20 years now. Like, what is it that makes the most people successful versus the people that aren't successful? What does it take to really be a successful apartment investor, a successful business owner, a millionaire investor, a millionaire business owner, a millionaire entrepreneur? And to me, there's a couple ingredients that it takes, but one of them is having a really powerful why and focusing on why you must be successful. Why must you be a millionaire investor? And so many of us start with how. How am I going to find deals? How am I going to raise money? Is now a good time? Who's going to partner with me? How am I going to manage the deal? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And by focusing on how, we get stuck. We get analysis paralysis. I've been guilty of that before. Has any of you ever been guilty of worrying about how you're going to do something? And then if you don't know how you're going to do it, then you get stuck and then you don't take action. So instead, I want to persuade you, beg you, inspire you, lead you, motivate you, or just simply mentor you, or just simply tell you or ask you. Start with your why. In 2001, I had a why. I had worked for 5 companies over 14 years, and I hated every single moment of those 14 years, just about every single moment of being in the corporate rat race. And I didn't know how to get out, but I knew I needed to get out. So see, I didn't know how, but I knew the result that I wanted. And the result is that I wanted $10,000 a month of income from my investments. $10,000 a month. And I got that why by reading Robert Kiyosaki's books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Prior to reading that book, I thought I would be going back to school and getting a 3rd degree. I already have 2. I thought I'd be getting a 3rd one. But Kiyosaki's book inspired me. It inspired me to go out and take action and invest in my education. But I also knew that I was in the rat race and I knew that I wanted out. So I came up with a powerful why. So I want to ask you all, and you guys may have seen this slide before because we've done one of these classes every month for the past couple months. How many of you have a financial freedom number? What is your monthly financial freedom number that if you hit that cash flow from your investments every month, you could walk away from your job if you choose to? What is your financial freedom number? If you have it, blow up the chat. I want to see it. 10K, Eduardo, 10K. Who else? 10K a month, 10K, 50K, 8K, 10K, 6,000, 25K, 10K, 20K, 50K, 10K. I love it. I love it. And you got to make a powerful why. Like, why is that a must for you? Is it a must for you so that it's just a wish? Is it just a dream, or is it an absolute must? Is it something you're absolutely committed to? And that's the second thing you need, is you need the commitment. Okay, because commitment is what happens when the going gets tough. Everybody wants to have their financial freedom number, but then when it's like when interest rates go up and it gets harder to raise money, or people become less certain, and then they're like, well, where are you at with your financial freedom number? Well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until the market turns around. No, you don't wait for the market to turn around. There's good deals to be happening right now. Real estate's on sale. Things are at like a 15, 20, 25, 30% discount from the peak. Like now, how many people know that now is a great time to be investing in real estate? Now is a great time to be investing in apartment complexes. How many people understand that? If you understand that, blow up the chat and say yes. It's a great time, okay? It's a great, great time. So number one, you got to have a strong why. Number two, this is what I learned. Some of the things that I learned from Kiyosaki is how I was thinking about life and money and work and career and business. My whole life, I was taught to be an employee. That's an E. And then when I read the Rich Dad books, I knew I wanted to be on the right side of the cash flow quadrant. I wanted to be a B and an I. And the thing I love about apartment investing is you can be a B and an I. We're buying a business. Look, buying and investing in apartment buildings is buying and investing in a business. We're buying a building. There's clients that are already built in. Think of a tenant, not think of a tenant. A tenant is a customer. You're buying a business that has paying customers. You're buying a piece of land with a business on it that has paying customers. Like, how could it get any easier and better than that? You're buying a piece of land with a building on it that has paying customers. It already has an income stream. And our job is just to increase the income stream and make it more valuable. And the government gives you phenomenal tax advantages. It's the greatest thing on earth. Okay, it really is. And I'm going to talk about that. Tom Wheelwright's going to talk about it. Okay. So when you go from the left side of the cash flow quadrant to the right side, you have more freedom, you have more independence, you pay less taxes, you're helping more people. Okay. The other thing I want you to remember is that, see, when you have a job, how many people have a job, by the way? Type in JOB, just over broke. If you got a job right now, that's okay. I had 5 jobs in 17 years. If you got a job, you're in the right place right now. Because most of us, when we started, we had a job. And then we had to do some work to get out of our job. We had to hit our financial freedom number to get out of our job. Eduardo, getting fired last week, this could be, I don't know how you feel about that, Eduardo, but that could be financially one of the best things that ever happened to you, because when that door closes, now you have a new opportunity. Okay. So look, when you have a job, if you do a great job in your company, you might get a single digit raise, a 5%, 3%, 7% raise. And I know this because I had a job and I was growing linearly. My income every year grew very linearly. It grew incrementally. Okay. But in business, as an investor, as an entrepreneur, as you acquire more skill, as you acquire more confidence, as you acquire more investors, as you continue to grow your network, you could grow exponentially, meaning what used to be a big deal for me is now a small deal. Okay, what used to take me a long time now takes me a short time. I used to struggle to raise $5 million. Now I can raise $20 million in the same amount of time. I used to struggle to buy a 100-unit deal, and now I struggle to buy a 1,000-unit deal. Okay, so things happen exponentially as you continue to grow your network, your skill sets, your confidence, your community. I'm just telling you, things happen exponentially, and you guys need to understand that. Okay, we want to understand that. Now, the next thing is this is a picture of where a lot of us think we are right now with our economy. You know, the FOMC just had another meeting just the other week, and they raised the federal interest rate another 25 basis points. You know, inflation is still high. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. But I'm telling you, winter, this is from the Game of Thrones, about winter is coming. Okay. Winter doesn't last forever. And after every winter, there's a spring. And spring will be right around the corner. And the thing is, if you wait until springtime to start developing your skills and to start getting ready for spring, and you wait until spring, you're already going to miss the opportunity. Okay, so we need to use winter to get started, to get educated, to invest in ourselves. And some of the best deals out there are available in wintertime. Okay, some of the best opportunities out there are available in wintertime because look, there are some business owners and investors right now that are, and I'm going to talk about winter season, which is where we're at right now in our economy. There are some people out there that are freezing. There are some people that are starving. There are some people, let's talk about apartments, they need to get out of their deals. And we're able to get them out of their deals. There are deals right now that are being sold for loan value. For loan value. Investors are willing to walk away from a deal just to get out of their loan. So there's opportunity out there right now. Okay, so who's going to get the opportunity? The people that are sitting on the sidelines or the people that are invested and prepared and have teams and are educated and they have broker relationships and they have skill sets. They know how to underwrite deals. They're not sitting on the sidelines right now. Sitting on the sidelines is never a good idea to hit your financial freedom number. See, look, if it takes you 3 years to hit your financial freedom number, then the sooner you start, the sooner you get there. It's going to take you 3 years. So people are like, hey, Brad, well, shouldn't I wait? Isn't it going to get worse before it gets better? Maybe I'll wait 6 more months and then buy when things bottom out. Well, how do you know when the bottom hits? How do you even know? What I know right now is real estate is at a discount compared to where it was 14, 15 months ago. It's 20 to 30% off. So it's a great time to be buying. Okay. So this is a message that I think everybody needs to really let sink in. Okay. And that message is very simple. The message is when there is a recession, there are more opportunities to be made than in any other time. Okay. And how many of you would agree that we're in a recession right now? Well, we are. If you know we're in a recession, type in yes. Okay. Recessions are some of the best times, some of the biggest, the wealthiest, some of the biggest corporations, some of the wealthiest human beings on the planet started their company or started investing during a recession. Okay. They started during a recession. So here's the deal. Look, everybody needs to see this. There are always going to be economic cycles. There were always going to be expansions and there's always going to be contractions, always. There will be more. Okay, the last contraction we had was what we call the Great Financial Crisis of 2008. Okay, it was a terrible time for a lot of people. And it was a great time for a lot of people. A lot of fortunes were made and a lot of fortunes were lost. Okay, but the point is the last decade we have been in this expansion. Okay, whether it was an expansion that was propped up by government spending or quantitative easing or all the things that they did to keep things moving along, whatever the reason, we had a 10-year expansion. So a lot of people that might be on here tonight, maybe you don't remember what it was like to go through a downturn, but I do. I started investing in apartments in 2002. So I've been through the great financial crisis and I didn't just survive, but I thrived. Okay. And I'm thriving right now. I mean, it's a time to thrive and I'm buying deals at a discount. And so could you. Okay. So look, if we look at where we're at, you know, in 2022, in the beginning of 22, we were at a peak. If you look at the slide that I have up, it says business peak right in the middle. That's kind of where we were at in the beginning of 2022. Now we're on this downturn a little bit where we're 20% off from the peak. So it's better to buy the same asset at a 20% discount because when this thing turns around, now you have massive, massive upside. You have massive, massive, massive upside. Okay. So it's coming, guys. It's coming. Okay. It's coming. And I want to give you 8 reasons right now in August of 2023 why investing in apartments make absolute sense. Okay. Number 1, real estate is on sale. I've already talked about this. We are about 20 to 25% lower price right now than we were at the peak of 16 months ago. Number 2, the fundamentals are strong for, especially for workforce housing, for that middle class family that can no longer afford to buy a home. Okay, and this dovetails into the number 3. Okay, there is a shortage of housing for middle class people. Like the median price of a single family home for somebody to buy is like over 400,000 in this country. They need a 660 and above credit score. They need to have 20% down, or they could rent your nice median priced apartment unit. Okay. And the price that they could rent your apartment unit on average is $1,100 less in terms of a monthly payment than what it would cost them to buy that median priced home. Let me say that again. It's $1,100 a month cheaper to rent a median priced apartment than it is to buy a median priced home on a monthly basis. So the fundamentals are strong. There's strong demand. People need a place to live. Employment is still high. There's a shortage of housing. Single family home purchasing has become way less affordable. So more and more people are becoming renters. Now, as an apartment investor, I haven't seen this little competition in a decade. Okay, it used to be when banks were loaning, 80% of the purchase price at a 3% interest rate, it used to be there were 30 or 40 buyer groups chasing the deal. Now there's like 2 or 3. And the terms are much more buyer friendly. I mean, the buyer friendliness now, it has really shifted from a seller's market much more toward a buyer's market. And the tax benefits are still phenomenal. There's no other asset class that's going to give you a tax benefit anywhere near what you could get for apartments. Okay. So we just need to understand that. I mean, if you're paying taxes and you want to pay less taxes, then we need to know that buying apartment buildings is going to give you significant tax savings. And the thing is, each year, that tax savings goes down by 20%. It's the way the tax law was designed. And so if you wait until next year, you're going to have 20% less tax savings in 2024 on the same purchase that if you made in 2023. So let me just say that another way. Any investment you make in apartment buildings in 2023, if you buy them in December 31st, 2023 versus January 1st, 2024, you'll save 20% more taxes. Okay. So if you don't want to pay as much tax, and by the way, I'm going to ask Kiyosaki and I'm going to ask Tom Wheelwright about why we want to legally reduce our taxes. In case you're not convinced, if you don't want to pay as much tax, it's going to be in your interest to invest this year versus next year. And then finally, we're still in an inflationary environment. I mean, even though the Fed's raising interest rates, we are still in an inflationary environment. So when there's inflation and we have apartment buildings that only have a 12-month lease at the most, sometimes we're in a 6-month lease. Some of our residents are on month to month. I mean, man, month to month could be great right now because we could raise our rent at the end of every month to adjust for inflation. Okay, but worst case, we're in a 12-month lease. And so we could adjust our leases every single year to match inflation. Okay, so it's a very inflation resistant investment is investing in apartment buildings. Very, very inflation resistant. So totally excited about the opportunity to invest in apartment buildings right now at this point in the second half of 2023. Okay. So Another quote I want to share with you from Warren Buffett. He says, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Well, right now, the vast majority of the United States is living in fear. Okay, they don't know what to do. They're uncertain. They're confused. They're waiting it out, or they're sticking their head in the sand, just waiting for this to pass. But those of us that are in the know that there are some great opportunities that we might not see again for another decade. I'm not going to say it's the opportunity of a lifetime, but I'm going to say I haven't seen this type of opportunity since the last downturn, since the last recession, since the great financial crisis. Okay. So it's a great opportunity to get in at a discount. Now, before I bring on Robert Kiyosaki and someone on the Sumrock team, let me know when Robert comes in here, because when he comes on, I don't want to keep him waiting. But I want to talk a little bit about the mission, my personal mission, and the mission of the Sumrock organization. Okay. And that is it's a big mission. It's to impact and mentor over 1 million people to achieve financial freedom. Okay. So we're not playing small here. We're thinking big. And y'all are part of that mission. And for those of you coming to the Apartment Investor National Conference that's starting in less than 3 weeks, August 25th, 6th, and 7th, okay, you're going to get to be part of that mission. Because what you're going to learn there is you're going to learn a framework that's going to help you become a millionaire apartment investor. It's going to help you achieve financial freedom. And that's what we're all about. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the conference, and then hopefully Robert will be coming on as I'm talking about the upcoming conference. So I'm not sure that you all have seen our complete list of speakers. So let me go through that just for a second. So in addition to me and Jen, and I'm going to just go down my right side, and then I'm going to go down from my left side. So of course, we have the one and only Robert Kiyosaki. He is going to be with us in person in Dallas, Texas. Okay, and Robert will be there. And for those that have a platinum ticket, Robert will also be doing a special session just for the platinum. So he's going to have a main stage presentation, discussion, and then he's going to have a special one for the platinums. Next to Robert, going down my right, is Tom Wheelwright. Now, Tom is also going to be on tonight, and Tom will be at the conference talking about taxes and how you can legally reduce your taxes. And at previous events at the conference, he's helped people save $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 just as a result of his presentation. Charlie Young is going to be there. Charlie is the principal of Madera Residential. They own over 20,000 units. Charlie is buying more apartment buildings right now than Grant Cardone. He's not as well known as Grant Cardone because he's not on social media, but he's buying more buildings and raising more money right now than Grant Cardone. And he's going to be talking about what he's buying, where he's buying, how he's raising money, what type of debt he's getting, and what he's not doing. Next up, we're going to have John Chang from Marcus and Millichap. He's their number 2 guy. He loves data, he loves research, and he's going to be giving you the lowdown on, the predictions, the crystal ball. What is coming up next for apartment investing and apartment investors? Okay. And what are the top markets and where we should be buying and where maybe we shouldn't be buying? Now, going down on the other side to my left, we have Nick Santonastasso. Nick is one of the best keynote speakers I've ever heard in my life. And I heard him speak at Tony Robbins' event. We became friends. And he's going to be on tonight, by the way. He's going to blow your socks off about being more confident, being more certain, especially in uncertain times. Okay. And we could all use that. Your mindset is your biggest skill set. We're also going to have Teresa Todd. Teresa is a powerhouse. She has a community of over 4,000 women 4,000 women real estate investors. And she's going to be on talking specifically about mindset, about skill set, and she loves to empower women. Then we have Pete Vargas. Pete is one of the world's greatest communicators, speakers, and trainers on being very clear and using your language and the power of presentations and other people's stages and Zoom meetings and webinars and speaking engagements to raise more money, to win more deals, and to help more people. And then last but not least, we have my good friend Robert Helms, the host of the Real Estate Radio Guys, the Real Estate Guys radio show podcast. So it's going to be a great, great event. We have 3 different ticket levels. We have the platinum ticket, we have the general admission ticket, and we have the virtual ticket. So if you haven't gotten your ticket left yet, you're going to want to go ahead and take a picture of that QR code. And I think I have heard that Robert Kiyosaki is here. So I'm going to bring on Robert, and then I'll be back with you after Robert is finished. So let me stop the share here and see if I can bring on Robert here. Hey, Robert, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, how you doing?
Very good, very good.
Hey, it's so good to see you again.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good to see you, and thanks for coming on tonight. Really, really, really appreciate you. Me and Jen appreciate you so much for coming on and for coming back for the 3rd time to our Dallas conference, and at the end of the month.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody, say hi to Robert. If you're excited to see Robert, let him hear from you in the chat box. Robert, everybody's saying hi.
Good.
Let me ask everybody, Robert, how many of you that are listening tonight, and Robert, it looks like we have 546 people on right now. How many people got started in business or in real estate because you read Robert's books? Robert, I don't know if you can see the chat, but it's blowing up. Everybody's blowing up. Everybody loves you. Everybody's like, oh my God, Robert, thank you, Robert, thank you, Robert, thank you, Robert. So, hey, I know that, yeah, there's just so much appreciation and love coming at you, Robert, right now. But hey, I know you just have a few minutes with us tonight, and you're going to spend more time with us in Dallas. But I'd just like to ask you a few questions that we could talk about in front of everybody here tonight. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right. Hey, what are some of the hot topics right now in the world that you think people need to be aware of?
Well, I think you've covered them. I think we're going into a depression, and our national debt is, they claim it to be about 32 trillion. It's really 260 trillion. And a trillion is 32,000 a minute or something like, anyway, it's ungodly. But the thing I always say to people is that the best time to get rich is in a bad economy. And I think a lot of the people that lose out during such times as this are people who go at it logically. And you have to have logic, you have to have fundamentals. But as you have, I think was you have Warren Buffett be cautious when everybody's greedy and be fearless, something like that. Well, my advantage is I'm the oldest speaker, and I've been through so many ups and downs in markets. And like many people, I started with nothing. And so when I hear people say, well, I'll start investing when I have money, or, when the economy is good, I'll invest. Those people are the losers of life, because what motivates somebody with that thought, I'll invest when I have money, and I'll wait for the economy to be good, is that because they lack self-confidence. So I love crashes. I made the most money in the crashes around the 1980s. Of course, it was a different time. Everybody talks about that. Forget that guy's name, but interest rates were like 22%. And people are bitching, whining, moaning, What are interest rates now? 5% or something? And they're bitching, whining, and moaning. So when in the 70s and 80s, when interest rates were 80%, I had to be able to put a deal together that made sense at 20% interest. But that's how you get smarter. And the good thing about when interest rates are really high, the prices are really low. So all those cowards out there, those pussies and wimps out there, I flew this in Vietnam, and I killed a lot of commies out there. I should have killed more commies here in the States. But so many people are cowards. And this is the best time to be brave. It makes the most sense because I'm happy to come to your events, is because they'll get fundamentally good, sound information. But you still have to find what the Mexicans call cojones, the balls. And when it's really, really bad, that's when times are really bad. So the 80s were horrible. 2008, Kenny McElroy and I borrowed $300 million in 2010. When the market crashed in 2008, we got sexually stimulated. I mean, they were giving away real estate. And then we're in 2023 right now, and Powell, his name is Powell, just raised the interest rates again. Everybody's crying and moaning and whining. And it's really the best time to get into it. So for those of you who come to your seminar, Brad, the Sumrock, you guys do a great job on fundamentals. But if you don't have what the Mexicans call cojones, you're not going to make it anyway. So what I talk about is, the thing I like about real estate versus the stock market is real estate's an inefficient market. And the stock market is fairly efficient. So that's why when the people talk about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, I just go like this, because they're not real estate guys. Real estate's an inefficient market. And what that means is that the harder you work, the more deals you find, especially if it's really a bad economy. And so I expect the economy to get really, really bad. I generally start businesses when it's really bad. But most people, didn't do this during the Vietnam War. Most of these cowards and pinkos like Powell and Biden, where were they during Vietnam? Well, they were hiding in either Canada or in Washington, D.C. So anyway, this is not a time for cowards or pussies or pinkos. It's really a good time. And what you do, Brad, is you give people the logic, the fundamentals, but technicals are emotional. And emotions right now the people are scared shitless. And that's the best time to start buying, because some of these pussies who bought these apartment buildings from Grant Cardone or whatever, who that guy is, they're trying to get rid of them right now. They're probably stuck with some really horrible investments. And those are the best deals to make. So anyway, I think it's really a good time. And what you do, Brad, versus Grant, he and I have got into it years and several times. But he's more of a gambler, and he's a capital gains guy. I'm looking for the biggest bargains I can find. So what's going to come up between now and probably 2035 are some of the best bargains in the world. And people generally have to have a roof over their head, unless you're a drug dealer and you buy from the Biden crime family that fentanyl they're pumping across the border. But if you're a drug dealer, the homeless on drugs aren't homeless. It's called an open air drug market. And that's what Biden is supplying these guys by opening the Trump border. And Trump is my really good friend. I wrote 2 books with the guy. So what Biden is doing, he's killing the American economy. And I don't especially like the guy, so you can tell that. And Donald Trump and I have written 2 books together. And hopefully he'll come back into office again. But right now, it's probably the best time to go to a Brad Shumrock event. Get the fundamentals, meet other people who think like you. But if you want to make this logical and this is going to be a good time and everybody's going to tell you, oh, it's sunny skies ahead, then you probably don't have the intestinal fortitude to be a real estate investor anyway. So that's what I like to say.
Oh, Robert, thank you so much. So much wisdom, so much wisdom in what you said. Do you have time for me to ask you one more question?
Sure.
I know this is one of your favorite topics, or maybe your least favorite. I think it's one of your favorite topics, but your tax advisor and friend Tom is going to be on later tonight. But why is it? I saw one of your Instagram posts, and you made a post about why it's a patriotic duty to minimize your taxes. Talk to us about that.
Well, the only people that pay taxes are communists. It's pure and simple. I'll just read you a quote from Marx. 1965, I was required to read this book here. Everybody should read it. You should make everybody, this is required reading. It really should be. But in 1965, I left Hawaii, went to school in New York, and my economics teacher had us all read this book here. And I realized then that most school teachers are communists. My family are communists. They believe in paying taxes. So this is what Marx said. A heavier progressive income tax is necessary for the spread of communism. Karl Marx. And America was founded in 1773 upon a tax revolt called the Boston Tea Party, not 1776. So if you understand, America is a tax-free nation. And anybody who pays taxes is a communist. Now, the reason you want to listen to Tom and not listen to me about it is because if you don't pay taxes, you go to jail. But Tom will tell you how to do it legally. And the reason I'm optimistic and I like property, especially apartment houses, is because the bigger the apartment house you buy, the less tax you pay. If you can get that through your thick skull, then you'll understand why, coming to your event in August 29th, 30th, whenever you guys are having it, it's really the best time to get rich. If you're not a communist, but if you're a communist, then go to Harvard or go to UC Berkeley or go to University of Texas. Just recently I taught at Arizona State University, and 39 professors came after me because they're all communists. School teachers are communists. That's why I stood on stage at Arizona State University this past February. I held this book up, and I said, all you professors, you should read this book to find out who you are. So communists pay taxes. Capitalists don't.
All right, Robert, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm really excited to see you later this month in Dallas, Texas.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Night.
All right. So everybody, we got to hear from Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm going to come back to talking about our conference, and I'm going to bring up our next speaker. But hey, look, I just want to tell you something. Robert is the best-selling personal finance author of all time. Now, the first time I heard Robert speak, I was in a little bit of shock, like maybe some of you are right now. I'm looking at the chat box, and some of you are like, man, I love this guy. He tells it like it is. And some of you are like, oh, yeah. Some of you are like, Brad, why are you bringing this guy here? Okay, he's making you look bad. Look, Robert is somebody I can learn from. And I'm going to suggest that Robert is somebody that we could all learn from. You might not like his style. You might not like his language. Some of you love it. Some of you won't. But he's got some very strong opinions. And all of them I don't agree with, by the way. So just because I'm having it on my stage doesn't mean I agree with everything he says. Okay. But there is a lot of wisdom in what he says. And if you could get through some of his crass language and opinions about things, I think there's a lot of value in it. So I'm excited to have Robert come, and hopefully most of you are too. And he's going to really deliver some good content. He's going to talk about a little bit more about what type of assets he's currently investing in, what he's not investing in, and why. Okay. So he's going to really do a great job educating us and informing us. And every time I listen to Robert Kiyosaki, by the way, I take tons of notes. And just a few things that I wrote down, just to recap some of the things that he said, is that if you look at things logically, it's hard to make sense of things. And there's so many intellectual people out there, and I used to be one of them, by the way, and I'd be like, hey, if I'm buying a deal at a 5% cap rate and getting a loan at a 6% cap rate, I have negative leverage. And how am I going to make any money? But see, that's the logical person asking that question. And the thing is, that person's never going to buy a deal, but that person's never going to become rich. And what I'm doing and what my students are doing is what we know is we know that we could buy this property maybe at a 5% cap rate and get a 5.5% loan, but we know we could bring that property and double its value. And we could double the value because the way apartments are valued is by income, it's by higher occupancy, by higher rent, by better operating efficiencies. And so we're not just looking at it by like, what's the going in cap rate and what's the interest rate, and I'm going to wait. And I'm not saying you're a loser if you think that. I know that's what Robert said, but that is a financial loser's mentality. I'm not calling you a loser as a person. You might be a really nice person, but that's a financial losing way to think. Okay. Because we're not just buying apartments because how they're performing today. We're buying apartments because how they could perform once we own them and once we invest in them and once we rehab them and once we manage them better. Another question I get is, well, Brad, I can make 5% in a money market fund right now. Why should I buy an apartment building when the cash flow is not much more than 5%? Yeah, but money markets don't appreciate. Apartments are still doubling money in 5 years. Apartments have phenomenal tax advantages. A money market doesn't. So if you're just looking at a yield, you're just looking at one small piece of the pie. So before I bring on Nick, I want to share my screen again and go back to our conference if I can. And these are the 3 ticket levels. I interrupted myself to bring on Robert. So we have the platinum ticket level. We have the general admission ticket level, and those are both in person. And then we have the virtual ticket level, what you could do from your home. Okay. So if you haven't grabbed your ticket yet, you can take a picture of that QR code and make sure you get yourself registered. Now, going into each of the ticket levels, this is general admission in person. And anyone who does the general admission ticket, you're going to get, as a bonus, my apartment investor home study course. You're going to get a one-on-one apartment investor assessment. You're going to get 3, and we're going to be kicking these off next week. We're going to be doing 3 Zoom meetings before the conference to get you ready for the conference. And then we're going to be doing 1 at the end of the conference, after the conference. Lunch is included all 3 days, and the networking is going to be phenomenal. They say you become the 5 people you spend the most time with. We'll spend 3 days with over 500 business owners, entrepreneurs, and investors, many of which are multimillionaires, and you're going to be around other people that are going to be able to lift you up. The platinum, the big thing about the platinum is you have a bonus day 4. If you notice, the general admission event is over on the 27th of August. The platinum, we have a bonus day 4. And what we do on platinum day is I rent buses and I take you out to properties that we own, we being me and my investors and some of my students own in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So you'll be able to get access to a property, get on site, and see things that the general admission folks won't be able to see during the first 3 days. Also, we have platinum lunches on Friday and Saturday. So that's the difference between the platinum ticket and the general admission ticket. And then the virtual ticket is something you do at home. So if you can't travel to Dallas for some reason, you can't make it, make sure you opt in for the virtual option. Now, what are we going to cover at the conference? We're going to cover what I call the 6M framework. And it's 6 critical steps to becoming a millionaire business owner, a millionaire investor, and specifically a millionaire apartment investor and a millionaire apartment syndicator, which is what I do and most of my students do. Okay, so this is the one real estate educational event remaining in 2023 that you definitely want to attend. Now, Robert and I talked before this evening, and anybody who buys a ticket tonight is going to get an autographed copy of Robert's best-selling book. Okay. So again, if you buy a ticket for the event, you will get an autographed copy of Robert's best-selling book. And now I want to see if our next speaker is on. So I got to check my text messages here. So hey, buddy, what's up?
How we doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm great.
Hey, did you see Robert?
I did.
So are you paying tax, you communist, or are you a capitalist?
Well, of course. I'm with those who want to create their own wealth and break the chains. Real quick, Brad, I just want to acknowledge you. Listen, if you're in here right now, just wave at me if you got both your arms and you're lucky enough to have both your arms. Wave at me. There you go. Right. Listen, what Brad is putting on right now is incredible. There's never been a time in the world where you can sit and tune in from anywhere in the world and be right in your mentor's face. Proximity. And so before we even get moving forward, I'd love for you to drop a big thank you in the chat for Brad. I want to see the chat blown up. Drop a yes or a thank you. Let's see the chat blowing up, because this is unbelievable. The amount of value and the amount of guidance and clarity that this man is providing. And he's been such a great mentor and dear friend of mine. So Brad, I am excited to be here.
Hey,
look
man.
at that. Look at the chat blowing up. That's the love. That's the energy.
I love it.
This is incredible.
I love it. I love it. It's actually good to receive all that love, Nick. Thank you for that. And now, hey, how many people here are excited to have Nick Santonastasso on? How many people have heard Nick before? How many people love Nick? And by the way, if you haven't heard him, you're going to hear him tonight and you're going to love him within the next 15 minutes. Nick, I'm so excited to have you, brother.
I'm fired up, Brad. I'm here to go wherever you'd like to go. The first, Brad, there's something coming to me. If it's okay if I just share it, because if it comes in a source and I got to bring it through. Listen, I want you to jot this down, that most of your breakthroughs and your progress in business and in life is going to be coming from unlearning all the BS they taught you, right? So you've been programmed for a very long time. Drop a yes if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like, most of your progress and your breakthroughs is going to be coming from unlearning and relearning. And one of the things that you were taught that is just not true. And by the way, I see the gallery. I see all your beautiful faces from all around the world. Wave at me if you've ever heard someone tell you time is money. Someone wave at me. Time is money. Time is money. If you ever heard that, just wave at me, right? Listen, whoever told you time is money, they don't have time and they don't have money. Why is that? Well, Brad, let's play a little game here. Brad, if I were to tell you, and Brad's a big baller, so I gotta put a big number on this, right? But Brad, if I were to tell you, Brad, I'm gonna wire you $100 million tonight after this call, but you cannot wake up tomorrow, would you take the deal?
No.
1 billion?
If I can't wake up tomorrow?
Can't wake up tomorrow.
Nope, not a chance.
How many of you would you take the deal? Chat, let's see it. Would you take the deal? Yes or no? You got nopes, 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 nopes. Why is that? Because I want you to jot this down, that time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. And you see, poverty thinking is trading time for money. Wealthy thinking is taking your money to get your time back. And that's what we're here to do. It's like, I want to go fast. I want you to jot it down. Success rewards speed. Someone drop speed in the chat. You know, time is not money. I'm here to take my money, all the money that I make, whether it's in the specific job, my business, and I'm here to find the person who has the life and has the results and pay a premium to get in proximity so I can go fast. I'm just curious. I don't want to get wealthy slow. I want to get wealthy fast so I have all these years to experience it with the people I love. Wave at me if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So if it, like, that's a small shift, but a big breakthrough is like, how can I spend my money to get my time back? And that's wealthy thinking. So Brad, that was coming to me because I spent too many years. I'm 27, right? I'm a young gun. I'm at this for a very long time, but I spent too many years trading time for money, right? So now I'm able to be in a place like Colombia, serving you from my laptop because I understand that I'm trying to find the person with the life and the results, pay them a premium so they can get me there fast.
I love it. I love it, Nick. That's great. How many people are picking up what Nick's putting down? Blow up the chat. Yeah, Nick, I love it. So wait, let me ask you a personal question. Could we be personal a little bit?
Hey, if the audience is okay with us getting personal, if you're okay, drop a yes in the chat or wave at us. I'm an open book. I'm here to serve. So what do you got?
Well, Nick, I love everybody to get to know you because so many people that are here tonight are going to be at the conference in Dallas that you're going to be at in person. So What are you doing? Did you say you're in Colombia?
Yeah, I'm in Colombia. I think it's one of the greatest places to
Oh,
just chill.
dude.
So I have a week of chilling, but I'm here serving. I had a Monday full of calls, so I've been serving all day.
Oh, that's awesome. So, hey, give us a little overview of what you're going to talk about in Dallas when you're here and why people should be excited about coming to that event.
100%. So to give a context, because I know my head is not that big that everybody knows who I am, right? So I understand that there's people that don't know who I am. So I'll just give a little bit of context, right? So as you can see, I got a different body going on. In 1996, I was born with no legs and one arm, and they gave me a 30% chance to live, right? And after I was born, the doctors handed over my parents a long list of all the things that I wouldn't be able to do. He'll never dress himself. He'll never feed himself. He'll never be independent. You're going to have to institutionalize him. You're going to have to take care of him for the rest of his life. And oftentimes when someone of authority or someone in our life tells us something, especially if it's disempowering, we start to believe it. Luckily for my parents, they neglected or they deflected all of those things that the doctor said. And guess what? Lean in here. I got a little secret for you. Lean in, lean in, lean in. Ready, ready? Those doctors are probably dead and I'm a millionaire and I'm still alive. So who's really winning? Right? So why do I say that? To give you context, how does a man with no legs and one arm have the relationship, have the cars, have the houses, have the fulfillment, have the businesses? How does that happen? Well, that happens because I have a specific mental syntax. Brad has a specific mental syntax. You know, and oftentimes we think it's the mechanics that are going to be the thing that's going to save our life. But I'm just curious, Brad knows it. How many times have you ever been to an event like this, took a whole bunch of notes, you got really fired up, and then you went home and did nothing with them? Show of hands if you're honest. You went to an event, you got a whole, yeah, I see you, right? You got a whole bunch of notes, and then you did nothing with them. Why? Because you went back to your current environment and the psychology never upgraded. So what we're going to do in Texas, by the way, what we're going to do there is I'm going to show you things that you cannot see, that you currently don't see, so you can strip power away from them. You see, neuroscience shows that by the age of 35, and I'm just curious, and this isn't a trick question, how many of you are 35 and above? Drop a yes in the chat. I'm just curious. Drop a yes in the chat or wave at me. Yeah, I see you, right? Bad news. No, I'm just kidding, right? But neuroscience shows that by the age of 35, you are 95% on autopilot. That means your actions, your words, your emotions, your triggers, the way that you show up in the world is on autopilot. Hold up 5 fingers if you got them. That means only 5% of your brain is conscious trying to make a drastic change. And so we only see what we can see, and we only know what we know. That's why we need someone that is outside of our life, outside of our business, to show us patterns or our blind spots that we cannot see so we can break through of them. I'm just curious, how many of you in here, maybe just even during this event, was like, oh, I didn't know that was a blockage for me. I didn't know that was a blind spot. Like, I need to work on that. Just wave at me. It's like, oh, I didn't know that was something that was holding me back. And so that's the thing, is the 1% of the world is constantly looking for the patterns that are holding themselves back so they can strip power away from them. And so during our session in Texas, I'm going to take you through difficult exercises, Brad. I'm just going to be direct. Like, most people think like, oh, I'm going to get a motivational, inspirational speech from Nick. It's like, no, I'm not a speaker of information. I'm a speaker of transformation. If I'm going to help you get a transformation in that room, we're going to have to do some work. Someone drop work in the chat if you're willing to do whatever it takes to break through to the next level. Drop a work in the chat. Let's see what we got. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. That's right. So what I'm going to do, Brad, is I'm going to take them through, and I'm not going to tell them exactly what it is, but 3 breakthrough exercises where I know that if you're willing to play full out, if you're willing to be all in, if you're willing to drop your ego and open your brain and open your heart, after these 3 exercises, your life will never be the same. And why is that? How can I say that with so much certainty that your life will never be the same? Well, there's something that we call the law of exposure. And what the law of exposure states is the moment I'm exposed to information that can change the quality of my life, a better way of living, a better way of serving, a better way of investing, the moment I'm exposed, I can never be unexposed again. I can never see life the same. So I'll give you a great example. If I took this whole room on a private jet, none of you would ever want to fly Spirit again. True or false? Drop it in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Right? That's right. Because you've been exposed to a higher standard. So all we're going to do is I'm going to expose you to a greater way of living, a greater way of experiencing emotions, a greater way of showing up, a greater way of mastering your mind so you can have anything you want in the external world. Now, I'm just curious, how many of you would be up for upgrading your psychology so you can have the influence over the external world, and the external world doesn't have influence over you. If that's up your alley, drop a yes in the chat, just so I know I'm in the right room here. Let's see what we got. So Brad, I'm going to take them through some difficult exercises, but most importantly, I'm going to put a spotlight on things that you cannot see so you can strip power away from them. So you can not only become a better investor, but you can become a better mother, a better father, a better student, a better leader. All of the things, because I don't want you to have success in one area. I want you to be whole. And I want to bring you back to flesh here, if that's okay. So Brad, that's what's going on in Texas. I don't know if everybody's ready for it, but whether they're not, I'm showing up and we're throwing down.
Nick, you know what I love about this? First of all, I love you so much, brother. You're awesome, man. I just, when we became friends, I don't know, I just had this, we just had this amazing connection. You were, and then you came and did one of the charity events with us when we handed out wheelchairs, which was phenomenal. But you know what I love is so many people think about success in apartment investing is all about underwriting deals or the numbers or asset management or property management. And those things are important, by the way, and we're going to cover those things in our conference. But you and I both know that success in business is much more than just mechanics. And what you're talking about, really matters. And it doesn't just matter in business. And I liked how you expanded it outside of the business realm into your personal life.
100%. The thing is, in this world, there's a lot of you are analytical, right? You're like, I need the underwriting strategy and I need this perfect investment and the way to raise capital. And what if I were to tell you that your over analytical brain is crippling you? It's stopping you from executing. You're staying in the indecisiveness. And so I want you to jot it down. Brad and I have been grateful enough to have some of the same mentors, some of the best in the world. I hang out with Brad because he's some of the best in the world, right? And I want you to understand that everybody's got great ideas, my friends. Everybody's got great ideas. They have great strategies in their pocket. They have great mentors. I want you to jot it down, though, that the genius is in the execution. It's who can really execute on the ideas? Who can really execute on the strategies? Who can just get the deal done and be decisive? You see, poverty thinking is indecisiveness. It's making a decision, falling back on the decision. Should I do it? Should I not do it? You're tiptoeing. Yo, go all in. Someone drop all in the chat, right? Drop all in on the chat, because your life will go to the next level when you decide and figure it out on the back end. I promise you. There's been probably moments in Brad's life. There's been moments in my life where I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, but I decided. And why did I decide? Well, the truth is, my friends, that there is, in every family, there's a transitional character. There's a character in the family who's the one. Someone tap your chest right now. Let me see. Tap your chest. Repeat after me. Say, I'm the one.
I'm the one.
Yeah, tap it again. Say, I'm the one.
I'm the one.
I'm the one in my family. Listen, every 60 to 80 years, someone comes along. It's the unorthodox one. It's the black sheep. It's the one that nobody really understands. Wave at me if you know who you are. I'm talking right to you. You know who I'm talking to. And they come along and they break the generational curses. They break the financial curses. They break the trauma. They break the emotional curses. But guess what, my friend? If it's not you, your bloodline is going to have to wait another 60 to 80 years for someone to step up. And I don't want to wait. Shake your head no if you're like, we're not waiting. We're not waiting. I'm going now. Right? And so even with no legs and an arm, I decided that I was going to be the one. And guess what? I am the one. I am the one. I just closed on $1 million property. My parents never seen that before. I got to expose them to that. I'm currently working on retiring my parents. The guy with no legs, one arm that wasn't supposed to make it out. Here I am, right? It's always the black sheep. And so if you're the one and you're fully committed to going all in, deciding and going to figure it out on the back end, because you have the mechanics, you have the mentors, you have the proximity, you have the accountability. Someone just drop a yes in the chat. So I know that you're in the right room and you're picking up what I'm putting down. Let's see the chat blown up today. Let's go. Let's go. I'm the one. Brad, are you the one? I'm the one.
Man, I'm the one. I've been the one. I've been the one for the last decade. And I'm, and by the way, being the one it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling knowing that I mean, I don't know if I ever said this to you, Nick, but I when I was growing up, I was I didn't even like my last name, you know. And now it's just like, I love my last name. Like, I own it. It's like, some rock, some don't, man. You rock or you don't.
That's so good. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. So
Hey.
that's what I'm excited, because why we're so excited is because we know what's going to happen when you're in the room. You don't, but we know, right?
Yeah.
We've done this so many times where we know exactly the magic that's going to happen in the room. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into, but guess what? This is the right room.
Hey, Nick, I got one other question for you. And then if you have a timer, it's more of a comment than a question, but I'm so glad you talked about the one and waiting like 60 to 80 years if like you're not the one, because here's the biggest question I get right now is, Brad, shouldn't I wait? Like, maybe things are going to get worse. Like, maybe I know you're saying real estate's on sale, but like, if I wait a little longer, maybe I could get a better deal. And it's like, look, when you have a why, like when I got started in this, Nick, 20 years ago, my why was 10,000 a month of income. And it took me 3 years. So like, what people want to understand is that if it's going to take you 3 years to achieve something and you wait, you're just putting off that 3 years.
But 100%. Listen, you've already been paying. Your family's been paying, you've been paying by not knowing the information on how to get that financial freedom. Wave at me if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like you've already been paying. It's the ignorance tax. That's what we talk about. The most dangerous information is the information you don't know. The best time to plant a tree, my friend, was yesterday. You already missed it. The second best time to plant a tree was today. And guess what? What's so beautiful about the investment that you make in yourself with the knowledge and the coaches is check this out. And whoever they is, you can attach the meaning to that, but they can take away your house. They could take away your family. They could take away your cars. They could take away all your prized possessions. But guess what? They can never take away the information you invested inside of your head. Drop a yes if you feel me on that. They can never take that away from you. So you can always build back better. Now, I've gotten into real estate. Why have I gotten into real estate? Because I know that it is one of the most greatest vehicles, not only to hedge against inflation, but for financial freedom. Wave at me if you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? So I learned this from one of my mentors, and I think it's very, very powerful. And I asked the same question. I said, well, what about the rates? And I want to get the best deal. And he looked me in my eyes, Brad, and he said this. He said, time is undefeated. He said, yeah, I get the rates and the prices go up and down, but guess what? Long-term, time is undefeated, and it will always be up long-term. And so if you're being intentional about your game plan on what you're going to build in the next 3, 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to be so proud that you did it now. So, because like I said before, you can experience this wealth with the people that you love even quicker. Like I'm 27, but if I can go back to my 19-year-old self, I would have told myself, do it faster because it's so amazing when you make it. And by the way, there's never going to be a moment in your life where you get a specific number in your bank account. You're like, that's it. I'm done. That's it. All done. There's never a moment. New levels, new devils. More money, more problems. But guess what? The more money we got, the more we can do for the world. And money makes the world go round. But also, who's going to be the one in your family if, God forbid, someone needs chemo? Who's going to cut the check? I am. Who's going to help their parents maybe retire in real estate? I am. I'm going to be the one. God forbid someone needs some help financially, medically. I got you. I want to be the one. And I want to do it faster so I can enjoy it with the people I love sooner. Sorry, Brad, I'm going off a tangent. I get in these rabbit holes.
Nick, I love it. So I'm going to ask everybody listening. So some of you may not have known Nick before 15 or 20 minutes ago. But now I have a question. How many of you love Nick and more importantly are excited to see Nick in his session that he's going to deliver in Dallas later this month? Let's blow up the chat. Nick, could you see it? Man, people were going crazy over you, man.
I see it.
People were asking your last name. I'll put it in the chat box. Somebody on the Sumrock team. Is there someone on the Sumrock team? Put in Nick's last name. It is Nick Badass Motherfucker Santonastasso. That's his name.
Hey, listen, like I said, law of exposure. Once you're exposed to Nick, your life will never be the same. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be dropping some heat in that session. And Brad as well. I think I think we have a gift for people. I think we jammed out about something in the back. I don't know if you want to give it to them. Do y'all want a gift? Is this okay? Like if we over deliver and give you something that we kind of like schemed in the background? Is it, if it's okay, drop a yes in the chat. I'm just making sure y'all want this.
Yeah, you guys want to gift from Nick, and look, this is for everyone who buys a ticket for the conference coming up. So number one, so Nick, Robert Kiyosaki was on earlier, and everybody that buys a ticket is going to get an autographed copy of his best-selling book. And what are you going to give away to everybody who buys a ticket for the conference?
Yeah. So the number one thing that I could give you that makes you stand out from all the average investors to the experts investors, the master investors like Sumrock, is literally self-belief and certainty and confidence. Like, let me be real with you. You would be moving way quicker if you truly believe that there was money on the other side of your action. But the truth is that the brain loves to create undesirable outcomes, and you give energy to undesirable outcomes. You know, how many people ever heard of people like, I have writer's block, right? I just don't know what to write. I just don't know what to speak about. You don't have writer's block. You just know, or you just believe that when you write the book, no one's going to buy it. If I were to tell you, if you write a book, millions of people are going to buy it in the next month, how fast would you write that book? You could write that book real damn quick, because you knew on the other side there's an undesirable outcome. So one of the things that we're going to give you for those that take action now, when someone drop now in the chat, for those that take action now, is I'm dropping in, no strings attached, is my confidence blueprint. You know, people are looking at me, no legs, one arm. How does this man have so much confidence? Has anyone asked that while they were looking at me? Like, how does this guy have so much self-belief and confidence, even with this physical body, right? I want you to understand and jot down that you will never make more than you think you're worth. If you think you're worth 500K a year, you'll be capped at 500K a year. If you think you're worth 50K a year, you'll be capped at 50K a year. This is for all areas. If you don't think you're worth the relationship, you may get in the relationship and then self-sabotage it. You know who I'm talking to. Same with weight loss. How many of you have ever lost the weight and then found a whole lot more of it? Wave at me. I know, I've been there. It's a form of self-sabotage. And so I'm going to add in my confidence blueprint, the step-by-step strategy for you to build unshakable confidence. Because how many of you would agree that we're in uncertain times? Like, drop a yes if you agree. Like, the world's a little bit uncertain. There's fear out there. There's uncertainty, the market up and down, all this different type of stuff. Your success is directly correlated to how much chaos you can withstand. And if you want to withstand chaos, you need to have unshakable confidence and certainty in your ability to provide, your ability to execute, and your ability to lead and raise money, essentially. Does that make sense? And so, Brad, for everyone that takes action now and they come to that event in Texas, I'm going to be dropping in my confidence blueprint so you can learn step by step on how to build unshakable confidence. So regardless of what the external world says, throws at you, whatever it is, you will never be shaken by the external world, because your internal world is way too powerful. So if that sounds good, drop a yes in the chat for those that are pumped up, fired up for that, because that is the foundation to your success, your self-worth, because you'll never make more than you think you're worth.
I love it, Nick. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's thank Nick for being on tonight. Let's thank him for his generous gift, his confidence course. Hey, Nick, man, maybe I could get access to that confidence course.
Listen, I want you to understand what Brad is saying. This man has so much success, has the money, has the impact, has the fulfillment. But what's beautiful about him is he's always a student of the game. The biggest wealth trap that you can fall into is thinking you know everything, thinking you'd mastered something. The very belief that you think you'd master something is the very belief holding you back from the next level of life. And this man, still to this day, is a student of the game. Success leaves clues. Take notes. It's been an honor, Brad. I love you, brother. I can't wait to see everybody in Texas. God bless y'all. And listen, when you come to Texas, get ready to do some work, because we ain't about information here. We're about transformation. God bless y'all. Send a love.
I love it, Nick. Thank you so much, man. Peace out. Have fun.
Got it. God bless.
All right. Wow. Let's give it up for Nick Santonastasso, man. How many people are excited to see this powerhouse speaker in Dallas, Texas? Yeah, he's incredible. I'm just telling you, he's going to transform you. Okay. This event is not just about information. Oh, no. It's not about education. See, knowledge isn't power. It's what you do with that knowledge. And I can tell you, like Robert Kiyosaki's books, I used to say Kiyosaki's books changed my life. But that's not true. They just inspired me to take action. If I read his books and did nothing, those books would not have changed my life. What changed my life was the action I took after I read the books. Because what I learned from Kiyosaki was specialized education can make you a fortune. He also said formal education, which is degrees, can get you a job. Specialized education can make you a fortune. So I read the books, but instead of just going back to work on Monday, I researched real estate investing seminars. And then I went to one and I invested in a weekend, just like the weekend that we have coming up, August 25, 6, 7 in Dallas, Texas. So the best investment you could make, I'm sorry, it's not in multifamily buildings. It's not in apartment buildings. It's the investment you make in yourself. Okay, that's the best investment you can make. So, hey, our next speaker is going to be on tonight. And so far, just to recap, for everyone that comes to the Apartment Investor National Conference and buys a ticket, number one, you get Robert Kiyosaki's free book, autograph book. I said free book. It's free as a gift from me and Robert to you, is an autograph copy of his best-selling book. And you get Nick's confidence course. Okay. So Tom Wheelwright, my team tells me that you're here tonight. Are you on?
I am here.
Hey, how you doing? Did you get a chance to listen to Nick?
I did just a little bit. I've heard Nick before. Nick's amazing.
Yeah. Were you on when Robert Kiyosaki was on?
I was not.
Well,
I've heard him a few times before though.
I bet you have. Yeah. So how many of you, I'm going to ask the audience, Tom, and right now we have 468 people on, and then there's going to be more watching the recording, but how many people out there have read, I see, Tom, you have a couple of your books in the background. So how many people out there have read Tom Wheelwright's books? Tom, the chat could you see the chat box?
I can. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's blowing up. And how many people are excited about Tom tonight, and more importantly, seeing Tom in Dallas, Texas? Oh, Tom, man, you're like you got all these groupies out there that are just like.
No, I love it. I'm their groupie too, so it goes both ways.
Yeah, well, Tom, I set the standard really high for you when you come to Dallas. I said last year and previous years when you've been at the same conference, in your 45-minute presentation, you've helped some people save $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in taxes.
Yeah, easy peasy.
So what's going on right now? Well, I know you're going to be speaking about this in Dallas, but give us a preview of like what's going on right now that people need to know about in your domain of taxes.
Yeah, so a couple of things going on. One big one is what's going on at the IRS, because the IRS is, of course, they're developing technology. This is best way to put this spyware. Okay, so they're developing technology really to pretty much their goal is to be able to see all transactions, to be able to see what's going on, and beyond the digital dollar. So I saw that note from Paul. Beyond the digital dollar, this is actually the IRS looking at developing technology so that they can make sure that there's 100% tax compliance, and that's all good. But here's what else they're doing: is they are hiring thousands and tens of thousands of auditors. So most people in this group and most people at your event, Brad, will never have been audited yet. But 2 to 3 years from now, that will change. And a lot of people are going to be audited. So one of the things we're going to talk about is how to deal with an IRS audit, how to, first of all, avoid it. But second of all, if you can't avoid it and no matter how hard you try, sometimes you're not going to be able to avoid it. What do you do about it? And how do you sleep at night while all this is going on? So that's one of the big things going on. Obviously, another big thing going on is that the 2017 Tax Act is phasing out, and the 2022 Tax Act, which was called the Inflation Reduction Act, I just call it the 2022 Tax Act, is ramping up. Okay. So we need to look at two things. We need to look at what's going on in the 2017 Act, like bonus depreciation. That's phasing down, like opportunity zones. That is changing. And then we have the 2022 Act, which is electric vehicles. How do you, for example, how do you buy an electric vehicle when your income's way too high and still get the $7,500 credit? That's a really interesting question, and there's a way to do it. How do you take advantage of all the massive solar giveaways? The massive solar giveaways in the 2022 Act. You know, we had massive giveaways, Brad, in 2020 and 2021 with the PPP loans and the ERTC credits. Now what we have in 2022 Act is we have the massive giveaways in solar and charging stations. And so there's some huge opportunities. We'll talk about those in Dallas, Brad. I think solar is probably the biggest thing from a tax standpoint that we're going to see over the next few years. And it's not going to change soon, but it's in such high demand that people are going to have to act pretty quickly. If you don't act within the next, I'd say within the next month or 6 weeks, you're not going to have solar by the end of the year. So you got to get going right now, and in order to take advantage of these amazing tax benefits. So those are a couple of things that are going on. We hope, Brad, that we're going to see some new legislation by the end of the year that will retroactively deal with some of our research and development tax issues. One of the things that I think most people don't know is that if you're an entrepreneur, there's a lot of real estate and research and development tax benefits that you could benefit from if you knew about them. Just because we see a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of investors that are doing things that are really innovative, and they're not taking advantage of all of the tax credits and all of the tax deductions that they can get in the research and development area. So, those are just a few of them. It's there's so much going on a literally almost a daily basis in the tax world that keeping up is not an easy task.
Tom, that's great. Every time you speak, I learn something new and find ways to come back, because just so everybody knows, Tom and I work together. And Tom, your firm has been doing our tax returns now for 5 years.
5 years, yeah. Yeah.
And maybe in 4 of those 5 years, or was it 6 years? In 5 of those 6 years, we paid zero tax on several $1 million a year of net income. And the first year we hired you was somewhere around this time of year. I'll never forget. It was around this time of year. And our tax returns were due October 15th, just like they are this year. So we had We had half of October, all of September, and part of August. But you were working on our previous year's tax returns. And somehow you were able to still save us like $160,000. So explain to people like how something like that is even possible.
Well, so what happens is that people think that tax preparation is something that a monkey can do. And I'm going to tell you, you've got to be a really smart monkey to do Brad's tax return. But what happens is that a lot of preparers, they rely on just what the computer does, and they literally don't do any work themselves. All they do is input data. And so what we do in our firm and in our CPA network firms is that we take a really hard look at all the details of what's going on. So for instance, in Brad, in your case, there may be expenses that you paid personally that we look at and we go, wait a minute, those are business expenses. We need to reclassify those. We need to put those on your business return. Or there may be activities that the way that it's been reported on your tax return, and just reporting it really what I would say is the right way, because the right way is always the way that reduces the cost, right? So reporting it the right way or the best way Sometimes you have multiple choices of how to report income or how to report expenses, and reporting them in the right place, the right way, sometimes can make an enormous difference. I'll give you a simple example. I see a lot of people treat their sales of real estate as capital gains. They're not capital gains. There's a special provision called 1231. They're 1231 gains. They're simply taxed at capital gains rates, but they are not capital gains. And so something you go, wait a minute, why does it make a difference? Well, it makes a difference because if you've had passive losses that have carried over, you can offset that with 1231 gains. But if you have capital gains, you can't. So you have a huge disconnect here. We had a client once, Brad, that just by making that one correction saved her $2.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah, just that one thing, and it had been reported wrong to her. So it just wasn't her return. As you remember, Brad, we looked at the K1s that you got, and I looked at those K1s and I'm going, these K1s are not correct. And we actually called the person that was doing the K1s and said, we don't think the K1 is correct. So we actually talked about it. We actually changed the way the K1s were reported because they were incorrect. And we thought they were incorrect. And what it made was a huge difference for you on your tax return.
That's right. Well, Tom, I'm excited. You've been at this conference. This is our 6th Apartment Investor National Conference, and I believe you've been to every single one.
I think so.
Yeah. So what are you most excited about this year for our event?
Oh, you know what? It's always, for me, it's always the networking. It's always meeting people. It's always getting to know everybody at the conference. I think that's the best part of any conference, Brad. And you know, your conferences are special that way because everybody's coming for one reason, right? They're coming to the one reason is what we want to do is we want to learn about real estate. And we want to particularly learn about multifamily, invest in multifamily real estate. And so everybody's there with the same objective. Well, you have people that are at your conferences, Brad, that have years of experience in multifamily. You have people that are brand new. You have people that have specialty areas like mine that really can help in all areas of real estate. And then what happens is you start talking to each other and pretty soon magic happens. One of my favorite books right now is Dan Sullivan's book, Who Not How. And I think one of the magic pieces of one of the greatest part of really pieces of magic at a conference like this is you've got people with a common interest, and there are a lot of who's in this audience that you could be meeting, and a lot of opportunities there. It's not how you do it. I mean, how's important, and you know, Brad can teach you how, but a lot of it you still have to have a team, and those who's on your team are so important. And I think that's what always gets me. It's who, not how. It's Dan Sullivan. So anyway, so that's what I always love about your conference, Brad, is that, I mean, for example, true story. So true story is one of my tax professionals right now came from one of the big 4 accounting firms. And I actually, the way I got in front of her was because her parents were at your conference, Brad, and they came up to meet me, and they said that their daughter was actually looking for a new opportunity. And it was because I was at your conference that I have this great employee, and she is amazing. She's a total superstar. So that's the type of thing, that's the kind of magic I'm talking about.
I love it, Tom. I love it. Well, we're glad to have you back again for the 6th time. How many people were excited to learn from Tom? And Tom, is it too much to ask? Do you think you'll be able to save people like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 as a result of your 1-hour presentation you're going to do later this month?
If I can't, then I'm not doing my job. So that is my job. That is absolutely what we're going to do. And that should not be, Honestly, the fastest way putting money in your pocket is reduce your taxes. And I'm going to give you some great tips on how to do that.
All right, Tom. Thank you so much, man. Thanks you.
So-
Oh, wait. Hey,
Yes,
Tom.
wait. I mean, come on, you go make a big deal out of Nick's gift and you're skipping over mine. What?
Well, I was going to ask you. So, hey, everybody,
Come on.
listen up. So, Robert is giving away an autographed book of his best-selling, an autographed copy of his best-selling book. That's only for in-person people, by the way, because it's going to be handed out in person, okay, for people that buy a ticket to our event later this month. Nick is giving away his confidence course. It's a digital course. And Tom, you said you'd like to offer something for everybody who buys a ticket for our conference. And what are you offering?
Yeah. So twice a month, every month, we work with our clients and we do an hour of question and answer webinar from our clients. And we're going to do something that I don't remember. It's been maybe 10 years since we made an offer like this, Brad. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you 2 months free. And that's 2 months free of what we call Wealth Ability Live. That's 4 webinars. And you can ask any question you like. And our tax professionals are going to be there to answer them, tax and wealth professionals. And so you get to listen to what our clients are asking, okay, who have actually done work with us. What kind of questions do they have? So you're going to get a real opportunity to ask all the questions, really ask questions and listen to other questions that are asked and get some pretty powerful information.
So, Tom, is this something that's ongoing on a monthly basis?
It is. We do this every month, but we only do it with clients. So this is a unique opportunity for you to get kind of a heads up and see what happens. What would happen if you were a client, what you'd get every month besides all the other tax advisory services we give. But this is something we do every month. But we're going to let anybody who buys a ticket to Brad's conference, we're going to give you 2 months for free.
That's awesome. And Tom, people were asking about the link. So I put it I see one of our team members put it in the chat box, but I wanted to just bring this up again. So again, we have 3 ticket levels. We have the platinum ticket level, which you get the bonus day for August 28th, a full day, extra day. And the platinums have lunches on Friday and Saturday with me and my team and some of the speakers that are there on those 2 days, and a special session with Robert Kiyosaki. Okay. The general admission is another in-person option. And then we have the virtual option. So for those of you that don't have your tickets yet, and by the way, for those that hang on for the entire class, I'm going to give an extra bonus too. Well, let me go ahead and do it now, Tom, because I have a bonus too. And I want to give it because
Right.
you're doing one and Nick's doing one and Robert's doing one. So everybody hold on to your seats here. Anybody that buys a ticket tonight, or anyone that's already bought a ticket, here's the deal. The hotel called my team late last week, and said, hey, we can move you into a bigger room than the one you've contracted. Do you want it? And at first I was like, well, I don't want to have this big room where it's like half empty.
Right.
But then I thought, well, what could we do to get more people to attend? And why do we want more people to attend? And why is because our mission, Tom, is big. We want to impact and mentor over 1 million people to achieve financial freedom. And so here's the deal. Anyone that's already bought a ticket, anyone that buys a ticket tonight, my team is going to give you a free ticket. So now you could bring, and if you already had a BOGO or whatever, then your BOGO gets a free ticket. So anybody that has a ticket right now, you get to bring an extra person. Okay. But that person still needs to be registered. And so we just need to know, sooner rather than later, who's coming to the event, because I have like a week. We have like a week to tell the hotel if we're going to move into this bigger room or not. So we want to have all of you help us fulfill our mission and bring a friend, a family member, a coworker, somebody else that doesn't already have a ticket that you think might benefit from being at this conference, learning not just from me, not just from Jen, but from Robert Kiyosaki, Tom Wheelwright, Nick Santonastasso, and all the other amazing speakers that are going to be there. So Tom, that's my gift to everybody.
I love it. That's awesome. So, and again, that creates more who's and more opportunity for everybody. So for sure, you know, bring somebody that you think would actually never buy a ticket. You know, somebody you go, they need this, and you need them there. Bring them. That's awesome.
Tom. Well, hey, thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you in advance for coming, and thank you for that 2 weeks. I mean, 2 months.
2 months. That's 4 webinars, 4 live webinars.
I love it. That's
right.
huge, Tom. I love it. Thank you so much.
We'll see everybody end of the month. Bye.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we got 2 more speakers. How's everybody doing tonight? We got 2 more speakers. We're right on time. We're right where we need to be. And I'm going to bring up our next speaker. So, Teresa, are you there? Let's bring up our next speaker. Hey.
Hey, Brad, how amazing has this been?
Hey, have you been on the whole time? Or?
I certainly have. It's so good.
Oh, that's great. So you got a chance to see Robert. You got a chance to see Nick.
Yes.
Of course, Tom.
Yep. All amazing. This is going to be one crazy event.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. And we're really glad to have you coming to our conference for the first time. Okay.
Yes. Well,
And-
I've actually been there before. So as an audience member, so I'm so honored to be back and get to help and so into your people. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. So, hey, I know that you have a huge community of women, 4,000 or 5,000 women that you help with their real estate investments, and you help with their life and their mindset and coaching them and leading them and mentoring them and inspiring them. But could you give all of us, because a lot of people here may not know you yet, but they're going to know you in the next 10 to 15 minutes, and then they'll know you even more when they see you in Dallas. But give us a little bit of overview about yourself and how you got started.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, I'm so honored to be here. So thanks for asking me. And I'm right here in Dallas, Texas with you, Brad. So that's cool. I can't wait for all of these people to come to our great city in Texas. So I was in the medical field for 25 years, knew nothing about real estate investing. And I have 3 brilliant sons. They were grown and they became real estate investors, found their calling and their niche, had crazy success. And they kept asking me, Mom, you need to come to Dallas. I was in Tyler, Texas, a couple hours away. And they said, if you'll come, we will teach you everything you need to know about investing in real estate. So I showed up, left everything behind, a 25-year career, a home that I had just built, all my friends, everything, and moved to Dallas, Texas. And they began to teach me. They taught me 2 things. They not only taught me the specialized knowledge, because Brad, that's what you do. You teach people the specialized knowledge. You teach people what the wealthy people know to do to become wealthy and to stay wealthy, and that's investing in real estate. The average person doesn't know that specialized knowledge. So my sons began to teach me that specialized knowledge, but they also did something really awesome, and that's they had to change my mindset. Because I had been an employee for 25 years, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I had an employee mindset. I knew how to create $60,000 a year from my job. And that's all I knew. And so they had to teach me that anything is possible, that we can create opportunities, that, I mean, if you just have the right, that abundance is available to us, and how to become a problem solver. And when the more problems we solve, the more opportunities come our way. And so I am really passionate about not only teaching people, but especially women is my little niche, because I want women to know that they can invest in real estate. So I love to teach the specialized knowledge, but I also love to teach that mindset so that we can start believing that we are worthy and that we are capable of having a financial free life, so that we can make impact, so that we can follow our dreams and our passions.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I'm really, really excited to hear you speak about that and to learn more about your journey. And like, right now with like all the stuff that's going on, the Fed and inflation and uncertainty and stuff like that, like, how are you teaching your community to deal with all this stuff? And like, what message are you? I don't want you to tell everybody what you're going to talk about yet when you're on the stage in Dallas, but like what should people be excited about, and how are you navigating through all this stuff right now?
Well, I think that you know this probably better than so many, and that is there are more millionaires created in a recession than any other time in history. And Robert Kiyosaki said so much of it at the beginning. You may not like the way he said it, but I have to agree with most of everything he said. This is our time. This is our season to jump in and take advantage of getting these deals at the right price and using specialized knowledge that you're going to be teaching at this event that so many of your other speakers are going to be bringing. There are there's formulas, there's just things that we can use right now, even though things are going crazy. What else are you going to do? You're either going to stay hid and just hold on to what little money you have, and at the end of this thing, it may not be worth anything, or you're going to use your money wisely and you're going to begin to invest and make that money grow. And I just don't believe that there's been a better time than right now. I mean, I don't love that where our country's going at all. I'm not thankful for that, but I am thankful that we have the keys that we can keep going and we can come out of this thing better than people that don't have the specialized knowledge. I'm sad for them, and I love your passion to teach people how to create this wealth and come out of this thing on top and not buried in debt and feeling depressed and so filled with anxiety.
Yeah, I always tell people like your mindset is the biggest skill set.
Yes.
And if you believe you can, you can't. And if you believe you cannot, you cannot.
That's right.
And and it's not just about education. Like so many people get educated, or they might read books or take courses or go to seminars, but they don't implement, or they implement very little. Talk about like, how, what so when people come to a conference, like how do they prepare for an event like this, and what should they be doing like between now and the end of August? And then once they're finished with the event, like how do they best implement, or what's your tips and strategies around that?
Well, I love that you are doing this right now, and you have so many giveaways between now and then. I mean, there's things that people are going to be getting, and you're doing some extra things between now and then. So show up for every one of those things so that you are getting in the right mindset. You're getting some extra special things that people that just show up to the event are not going to be receiving. So be getting all that. When you hear somebody mention a book, man, go on Amazon, get the book, start reading it, filling your mind. We have to have a growth mindset. So come ready. And then what to expect. Not only are you going to receive the like how and what is the next step to jump into this, but the motivation. And that's what we need, that motivation and that inspiration, so that when we walk away from your event, now we're ready to take action, because that's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. And that is those who take action, that do not get stuck in analysis paralysis, thinking, well, I got to read one more book, I got to go to one more seminar. Just take what you know and implement that first step. And you'll figure out the second step, and you'll figure out the third. But if you just sit back and just keep watching everybody else, or always thinking there's going to be a better time, always, I've only been in this thing since 2017. And I mean, at that, we were at the pinnacle. Everything was amazing in 2017, but there were still all the people going, oh, it's got to crash. You don't do anything now. Don't do anything now. I'm glad that my sons had taught me a different mindset, and I just kept plowing through. Well, then 2020 hit, and everyone's like, whoa, don't do it now. Don't do it now. And I just kept plowing through. And then, of course, then everything was over asking and crazy. And people said, well, you can't buy now. And you know what? I just kept plowing through. And now here we are. And my plan is to keep plowing through. You just keep doing it. And so since 2017, no matter what's been going on in the world, I have made money in real estate. And so everybody just needs to know that. Just do it. Don't be looking at whatever is going on in our country. Watch what the wealthy have done for years and how they've created this, and then just go copy it.
I love it. And that's one of the biggest questions I get right now, Teresa, is like, well, Brad, like so many people are saying like, hey, it might get a little worse before it gets better. So should I wait? And I'm like I brought this up to Nick and I brought this up to, Tom, but it's like, what's your take on waiting and trying to time things?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and then just wait as the money starts trickling in and coming in. Don't wait. What is it that you're actually waiting for? That's what I want to ask you. What is going to happen in our nation that's going to make you go, oh, now is the time to buy? Because I've been in it since 2017 and the naysayers have told me every year since then that it's not the right time.
Yeah, I love it. And like what I said is like, look, when I got started, I had a very powerful why. It was 10,000 a month. And it took me 3 years. And if I had waited, and Teresa, there's something you said that really resonated with me because I have the same experience. You said you started in 2017. In 2017, people were telling me, Brad, we're at the top of the market. Like, I'm going to wait until the crash. Like, and even Kiyosaki, I mean, I love the guy, but I mean, he was talking about the crash in 2012. So like, there's a lot of things that I learned from him, but he's not right about everything either, and that's why I like to bring a lot of different speakers on the stage, by the way, is because you're going to hear from a lot of different people and you're going to get a lot of different perspectives. And by the way, that's why I only do one multi-speaker event per year, because sometimes when you listen to all these people, it can be confusing because all the speakers aren't going to say the same thing.
That's exactly right.
So that's why we do other events where I'm the main speaker, so I could teach my proven framework for apartment investing.
Sir.
But I can tell you, I love doing this, what we call the Apartment Investor National Conference, and we bring in all these amazing speakers and teachers and educators and mentors because it's just, and it's actually one of my favorite events because instead of me having to teach, for 3 or 4 days, I really just get to facilitate and coordinate everything and bring in some amazing speakers like yourself.
Yes. Well, not only am I excited to be a speaker, but I'm so excited to hear all the other speakers and to network and all of the things. It's going to be amazing. I'm addicted to these kinds of seminars because I love to put myself in the room because those are going to be your partners that you never know who you're going to make your next $1 million with. Might be the person that's sitting to your right or to your left, and I'm there for it.
I love it. I love it. So, Teresa, you heard that Robert, Tom, and Nick, and me all have a gift for people that buy a ticket for our upcoming conference. And I heard through my team that you have one too. So tell us about, for everyone that buys a ticket to our August 25, 6, and 7 event, Teresa has an incredible gift for everybody. So Teresa, what is that going to be?
I am so excited. I have a mindset mini course. This is exactly the things that my sons, when I got into this, listen, my sons were, because I had been a single mom for a lot of years. I lived on a budget. So I had a budget mindset. And my sons were like, Mom, quit thinking about what it cost you and think about what it makes you. And they just started sewing into me and teaching me. And I mean, I had to take notes and I had to take them quickly. I was already 50 years old. I was not like Nick, 27 years old and already a millionaire. I was on the other end of the spectrum. And so I had to be a quick learner. And what I found out is that mindset is everything. So now I am passionate about teaching that to other people. So I'm going to give away a little mini course on just getting that mindset so that you can show up. And when you are receiving all of the knowledge that Brad and these other speakers are giving, that you can literally put it to work and not just let it die in your head and on your notebook paper.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. So now we have Robert's best-selling book autographed. We got 2 months of Tom's Wealthability webinars. We got Nick's confidence course. We got everyone that already has a ticket. You get another one. So you get to bring somebody else And Tom was like, hey, bring somebody that would like, you know, those people that would like never, ever, ever go to a conference. Tom was like, bring one of those people
Yes.
because they would never do it.
Yeah.
And now we have
Thanks a lot.
Teresa's mindset.
Thanks
Now
a
we
lot.
got Teresa's mindset course, which I love it, Teresa. Do you think I'd love to have that too, by the way, because look, I'm always a student. Nick pointed that out, but like, you know, one of the things that I've done a lot is I love to be a leader, but I also love to be a student, and I love
Yes.
to be around. One of the things I love the most about this conference is I become friends with the speakers. And then we all learn from each other, and we all share stuff and everything about what's working and what could be doing better and what's working really well. So like, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you in advance for coming in on the end of August. And thank you for offering that gift to everybody that buys a ticket to the event. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. I can't wait. I'll see you soon.
All right. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to throw up one more time our link to get your ticket and all the incredible bonuses that are going to be offered. And go ahead and take a screenshot of that. And by the way, for my gift, which is a free ticket, I just want to be clear, if you have a platinum ticket already and you want to bring all the free tickets or general admission, if you want to bring somebody else into the platinum group with your free ticket, we'll do that just for, I got to ask my team. I don't know if it's like $300 or no, I think it's 50%. I think it's 50% off of that price. So if you have a platinum ticket and you want your guest, that free ticket, to come with you in the platinum room, we could do it at 50% of that price. Now, again, this is not like, hey, I already bought a ticket for somebody and I get a refund. That's not my free gift. It's for every single ticket holder. Now you have the opportunity to bring somebody else to the event, and we need to have that happen by August 14th, because that's when we need to let the hotel, know if we're going to move into a bigger room or not. Okay, so we're going to need to get all that wrapped up pretty much this week, or by like Monday at the latest next week. Okay, so we have one more speaker, and she was on the flyer, and let's bring up the one and the only Jennifer Sumrock. Let's bring her up here. There she is.
Hi, everyone.
So Jen, what did you think of all the incredible speakers tonight?
I thought they were all amazing, and I'm excited. I was glad to see Teresa, because I haven't met her yet. I feel like there's a glare on these glasses, but yeah, I took some notes on Robert, because he's cracks me up, and Tom, I got like a really great teacher, but yeah. Robert talks about, it doesn't just take cojones, that's his word, and then Nick, of course, he was talking about confidence, and, it's really like, they're talking about like a way of being, right? Like you want to be confident, you want, your belief, and what is all of that? And all of that is really like energy, right? So like, we're all just really just energy. So I want to first acknowledge everybody who's still on tonight, because I know we started out with a lot more people. So if you are still here right now, I want you guys to stand up and celebrate that you are like one of the few that are still remaining, because you guys freaking rock, man. And I mean, like, this is it. You got to give yourself energy, because you don't want to just have stuff that's like exhausting and takes away your energy. You want to have fun. You want to have sustainable energy. You want to keep this thing going. And if you just sit on your ass and just, take in information and don't do anything and don't move around and process it and integrate it and get it in your body, you can't become it. I mean, energy wants to express itself. And when you express yourself, you want to get big, and you want to be abundant, and you want to be more, and you want to have more. And it's all for the greater good, right? And the highest form of energy is love. And so we want to be love while we are doing all of these things. We don't want to just chase after some goal and forget who we are being or why we're even doing it, right? We want to be aligned with our purpose. We want to be intentional. We want to take care of ourselves. So I just want to encourage you guys to really make you a priority. So right now in the chat, for all of you listening right now, tell me, who is your biggest priority right now? If it ain't you, I don't know who it is. So everybody, I want to hear it right now. Come on. That's right. It's you guys. And without you, if you're not around to take care of whoever it is you want to take care of, I mean, what is it all for? Right? So we want to put in some disciplines, right? It's going to take discipline. It's going to take different action to get different results, right? The way we've been being, the energy that we've been putting out towards things, we need to change all of it. And it starts with a commitment, right? When we create powerfully, we create with our words, and we come from a committed place, and we create a vision of what it is we want. And then we keep that commitment. How many people have started the year off where they wanted to lose some weight, have some specific goal, and said, I'm going to do all this stuff, and start off the year with a kickoff, got all rah-rah'd up, and then didn't follow through? Come on, let me hear it. How many people have started something, whether it was a diet or some other, read a book, didn't finish? Come on. I mean, I'm included in that. I'm not pointing fingers, because I'm pointing a finger at myself. I've done it a lot, right? But the only time I've ever succeeded was when I've actually followed through. I kept my word. And you know what? The more we keep our word and keep our promises to ourselves, the more powerful we are, the more we can create, the more we count on ourselves. Because really, we can't count on anybody else out there to do what it is we want to do. It's all about us. And it's not about getting the goal that we want to get. It's not about getting rich. It's about becoming more. It's about becoming, releasing those strongholds, those thought forms that were stuck in our energetic being. You know, it was like, let me just get rid of those stupid thoughts that said I could never do this. I mean, I had to take myself out of the environment that I was living in, the beautiful environment that was all that I had a roof over my head. I'm grateful for that. You know, we didn't have all the resources that were things to figure out. I had to go out there and have a desire in my heart, the desire in my heart to go out of my comfort zone, out of my home, and go find it. And I didn't find it perfectly the first time. I went into different elements, different, rooms. I'm listening to people, and, we got to be careful who we listen to. And sometimes we got to be careful of the stuff we are saying to ourselves. How many people have beat themselves up, called themselves stupid because they made a mistake or heard somebody that did that? And you think, oh my gosh, what are they doing? They're like speaking against themselves. I've done it, but I overcame it. Right? So we just really, to become more and become this person that wants to have something that we've never had. It's so cool because there's so much growth. I mean, everybody talks about mindset, but let's just talk about self-assessment, right? Pay attention. They talk about we recycle the same thoughts and words, on a daily basis. At the end of the week, we're saying the same words, we're doing the same things, we're seeing the same people. How many people have 20 pairs of jeans, but they wear the same 1 or 2 pairs of jeans all week? Come on, I'm fessing up right now. I have my same favorite pair of clothes I put on every week, and I have a closet full of clothes I don't need. How many other people have that? Come on, ladies, at least I know Brad. Okay, so I just want you guys to get that energy is so important. It's the thing that is going to keep you sustained in this journey. It's to get financial freedom. It's not a sprint. It's a freaking marathon. And it's not a marathon just in your physical body. It's going to stretch you mentally, right? And you got to surround yourself with people that you are willing to let them stretch you, right? Because the people that are going to be when Teresa was talking about the naysayers, we got to be careful who we listen to, because there's going to be people that we trust and love that are going to want to keep us safe. oh, well, I don't know if you should do that. Like, do you really believe that? That's just a bunch of hype. They're going to put all of that in there. But one of the things that I started to implement in my journey, and it's just, life is so beautiful. Life is so beautiful. And I hope that we all just can take a moment, like right now, and just type in the word gratitude. Like, just be grateful you're alive. Who's grateful that you're alive right now? And get to have this challenge of, how can I go from where I'm at to where I want to be financially, physically, mentally, energy? Like, who is grateful to be alive right now? No matter what problems are there, there's always going to be another one. So why not just face it with energy, with positivity, and don't believe the negativity. Wash it away, cleanse it away. So I want to share with you, just like, write out what is important to you. What is really important on your journey to gain? You're going to want to have a goal, a financial goal to get somewhere, right? And you're going to have a reason why, and just set your intention that on my journey of going from here to there, I am committed to this. These are the important things in my life. Because I'm going to tell you something. That was something that I ended up losing myself in. When I started devouring myself so much. I wanted to learn so much and do so much that I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten right. I haven't gotten out of the house. When was the last time I saw sunlight? I haven't moved my body. When did I call my niece, my nephew, my brother, my sister? I haven't seen my mom. What is happening? I got so bogged down because we can get tunnel vision because we have a goal and we want to be achievers. But what really life is about is finding that balance of harmony, right? Where we're like, we know we want to get there fast. Yeah. Like Nick is like, yeah, I want to be there fast. And I love that. I love that you want to get there fast. Now, how can we get there fast and allow it to be sustainable, enjoyable, and keep our commitments to our family and our self-care and all the things that are really important in life? Because when it comes down to it, in the end, are you going to wish that you spent more time going after making a lot of money? Or are you going to wish that you had time with the people that you took care of yourself, so you're not spending a bunch of money when you're like got a sickness or something, or you actually like went out on a vacation, like Brad, we took your dad to, his dream trip to Alaska. It's like something he never did for himself because he was working so hard for the family. And I get that. And it's like admirable. It's such a beautiful desire to want to take care of your family. And we have to remember to nurture ourselves, enjoy the journey, take care of ourselves, and not live with regret or just turn around and look back and go, man, I can't believe I was going so fast. And look at me. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm irritable. I've snapped at my kids. I snapped at my family. I didn't even call them. I mean, we don't want to get lost like that. So I just wanted to come on tonight to encourage all of you beautiful human beings that we all are. We are human and we are beings. We're not human doings that get stuck in the rut of just do. We want to also be. So I would encourage you to live in alignment with the important things in life, and your actions, the things that you do in life, are going to give you feedback of what your priorities are. So I might say, I want to have this fantastic body. I want to have energy and I want to look amazing, feel amazing. But then I go hang out and I'm like eating some French fries and I didn't, I didn't work out because I was reading and studying and I was making calls. I was busy making calls, like I'm going to have a really good excuse, because I was so busy today. And then you just, that's feedback, guys. So what I'd encourage you to do is, this is something that I started doing. I was doing self-assessments, right? What am I doing? How was today for me? Did I get lost in work all day? Did I come from a committed place with my family, with all the things that were important to me? Did I do that with my self-care? Name 5 things that are the most important things to you and write those out, and then check in and say, have I stayed in alignment and from a committed place? Am I creating powerfully from a committed place? Right. And so there's times where I'm like, oh man, no, today, and it's not for you to beat yourself up. It's for you to just be aware. Was there anything I did or said today that maybe I could have done better or differently for next time? Okay, at least I took the time for self-assessment so that I could be better tomorrow. That's all it is. It's like, yeah, okay, but look for the good in what you did every day, and don't just look at what did, like, yeah, like a lot of times, Brad and I will get so busy and he'll be like, man, I can't believe it. We didn't work out. I didn't get to the gym or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but we went for a beach walk. We got out in the sun, so we want to encourage ourselves and give ourselves rewards for the progress and the good that we do, and not beat ourselves up. We just want to acknowledge, did we say anything that held us back? Is there something that is keeping me stuck in this thing? Is there someone I need to talk to? And I just want to say this, and I'll close it out because I know I probably already went over, but like, environments really, really matter. Okay. And a lot of times we could get stuck and be by ourselves, and we don't want that. Like, we want to be able to phone a friend, somebody, get me help, get me out of here, right? Kind of thing. So an environments isn't just, it's like the 5 people that you hang out with or who you become. And that to me is like, that is like a golden rule. And then be careful of the 5 people they hang out with, because they're becoming like them. So like, you want to go a little bit beyond that and see what they're doing. But like, that's what I love, like putting myself in an environment like AIM-NAT-CON coming up, places where people have a similar goal and they're disciplined enough to take action, and they think differently than me. And I want to hear how they're thinking. And I don't want to base my decision today without getting to myself in a new environment to hear something else, to just say, well, maybe there's something I don't know now, but I'll wait and hear the information and then make a decision. Like, some people want to rebuttal right away. Yeah, but this, yeah, but doesn't it, like right away. Oh, apartments, like, but don't you need this? And it already they're fighting it. And it's like, just you're either going to be open and you want it and you walk in faith, you walk in, yes, this is something I want. And my brain is trying to keep me, it's either confused or it's trying to keep me safe, and it's about to learn something, but just allow it to just go in, and then you can process it and decide what's best for you next. But environments are huge. And it's one of the things that helped me in my growth. And of course, all the networking and meeting new people and the new challenges along the way. And, the environment is also what you put in, on, and around your body. So pay attention to your environment in your home, where you work from. Is it cluttered, or is there space? And are you in one place all day? Can you move about? Get outside, get in nature. These are just little tips, like, take a break, drink some water. Are you staying hydrated? These are all part of the energy process. So yeah, it's a holistic journey, guys, a holistic journey. And it's the only way to be sustainable, because I hit that roadblock, and I don't want that for you, And so, sometimes you get to leverage and learn from other people, so it can shortcut the process. And, so anyway, I'm so excited that you guys are all here and still with me. So type in energy, I matter, my environment matters. Type in something great that you just learned about energy tonight and what you're going to do to move forward and get to a sustainable, holistic goal that you want to get to. Write it out.
Great message. That was a wonderful message. Thank you, Jen, for that. That was really, really good. And that was great. How's everybody doing tonight? So
yes,
what's amazing is we had almost 600 people live tonight, and I'm sure more are going to be watching the recording. And now we have 280. So I love everybody that came on tonight. But y'all that are still here, I love you even more for hanging in there, staying with us the whole time. And hey, look, I said it was going to be between 120 and 150 minutes, and we're pulling into that range. So I'm just going to do a very quick wrap up. Thank you, Jen. And
You're welcome.
how many people are excited about the upcoming conference in Dallas? And
Here's
we
what it's
have
gonna
other,
look like.
by the way, we have other speakers. That's right. We have other speakers that were not on tonight. So who were some of the speakers that were not on tonight that you'll get to learn from August 25, 26, 27? So one person that's going to be there is Robert Helms. Now, Robert is the host of the Real Estate Guys radio show, one of the most popular podcasts in business, in real estate. And he is going to be teaching about 7 things that we need to be doing right now to be successful in times like we're in right now. And just like I've been through the last downturn, so is Robert, and he's learned a lot of things that he's going to be sharing with you. So that's one person that wasn't on tonight. Now, another person that wasn't on tonight is John Chang. And John is the number 2 person of the largest commercial real estate firm in the United States, Marcus and Millichap. And John is an expert on market data and research and forecasting. So he's going to be looking into his crystal ball and telling us what we could expect going forward over the next 6 to 12 months, specifically in the realm of apartment investing, but also he's going to talk about other commercial real estate investments. Another speaker that wasn't on tonight is Charlie Young. Charlie is the principal at Madeira Residential. They own tens of thousands of units, and he is in severe buying mode right now. He's buying more buildings now than ever, and he's raising more money now than ever. And he's going to talk about how he's doing that, what he's buying, where he's buying, how he's raising the money, where he's raising the money, and also what he's not doing. Okay, so we're going to learn from him and his partner, business partner, Dave Marchinkowski, that runs the management side of Madeira Residential, will also be coming in to the conference. So we have an amazing lineup of speakers for you. And I'm going to share the screen one more time to show you how to get signed up for the conference and to get all the incredible bonuses that we're offering. And before I do that, I'm going to leave you with this thought. Now, those of you that have been following me for a while have seen this before, but this saying applies more now than ever before. Some of you are going to wait. In spite of everything you heard tonight, some of you are going to sit on the sidelines and wait it out. Or you're just putting your head in the sand, waiting for all this to go away, all the interest rates and all the uncertainty to go in the way, or maybe you're waiting for the election or whatever you're waiting for. But waiting is the most toxic thing that somebody can do. Okay. And so now more than ever before is the time to invest in yourself, get educated, build your team, get those broker relationships, learn the critical skills of underwriting, deal analysis, market analysis, learn about what's going on, get all of your ducks in a row, get your lenders, your attorneys, your team, your partners, start putting that all together, because right now real estate is on sale. Okay. And it's going to stay on sale for a limited amount of time, but that window of opportunity is going to close. Also, the window of opportunity for taxes continues to, there's still a great tax advantage to investing in real estate, but every calendar year that you wait, and you heard Tom say it, the Tax Act of 2017 is on the way out. So the depreciation benefits every year are getting lower and lower. Okay. So there's a tremendous window of opportunity to buy real estate, apartment building real estate at a discount and have some of the best tax advantages that are available. Those tax advantages are going to get lower and the prices are going to get higher for those that wait. So now is a great time. And just to recap all of the bonuses. Number one is the bonus that me and my team are giving away is everybody that has a ticket or buys a ticket, you're going to be able to bring another person. So basically, you're going to get a free ticket that you could bring somebody else. That person's just going to need to be registered for the event by August 14th. That's at the general admission level. If you have a platinum ticket or you buy a platinum ticket and you want to bring another platinum ticket holder, we could do that for 50% of the price. Number two, a bonus that I already offered prior tonight is starting next week. I'm going to do 3 pre-event trainings to get you ready and primed for the event, and 1 post-event training so that you can implement what you've learned after taking the 3-day event. Now, the bonuses that we released tonight, number 1, you get an autographed copy of Robert Kiyosaki's best-selling book. Number 2, Nick Santanastasso's confidence building course. Number 3, it's actually 2 months, not 1, of Tom Wheelwright's Wealth Ability live webinars. And number 4, Teresa Todd's course on mindset mastery. So for everybody that has a ticket or buys a ticket, this is the bonus plan that we have for you. And here's the thing though, you got to actually come to the event to get the bonuses. You got to be at the event. Okay. So hopefully that's a fair request. Is they say 90% of success is actually showing up. Okay. So some people buy courses and take classes and they don't even show up. So all the bonuses are for people that not only buy a ticket or come as a free guest, but actually attend the event. Okay. Because your life will change when you attend the event. Okay. It doesn't just change when you buy the ticket. My life didn't change when I read Robert Kiyosaki's books. My life changed after the action I took from reading Robert Kiyosaki's books. My life didn't change when I hired a mentor. My life changed because I took action that the mentor, the steps, I followed the steps and I took action. Okay. So for those that are ready to take action and that are taking action this month, this is a transformational event. It's not an informational event. It's not an educational event. Like Nick Santanastasio said it best. It's a transformational event. And my guarantee to you is this. If you come to the event and you don't get your money's worth, I'm going to refund your ticket 100%, no questions asked. Okay? So with that, let's put up, if someone on the Sumrock team could put up the QR code in the chat box one final time so you can grab your ticket and all the bonuses. I want to thank you, Jen, all the speakers for coming on tonight, and all of the people on the Sumrock team supporting us and supporting the event and supporting this masterclass. By the way, we've done several of these masterclasses, and by far, this is my favorite one. So absolutely loved it. I hope you guys did too. And I just want to thank all of you that are still here, 236 of you that lasted for 150 minutes that are still here. And man, I bet you if we had more content, which I do, by the way, but we're going to make you wait until August 25th to get more content. But I bet you if we kept going, y'all would stay on because you guys are my kind of people. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. By the way, stay at the Venue Hotel. That's another message that I have. Some of you are like trying to go on the down low cheap, like, hey, I'm going to stay, 8 blocks away at the Super 8 or whatever. Look, there's going to be so much networking happening. Like not only the stuff we organize, but the stuff you all organize, like the breakfast you all do and the drinks you all have and the dinners you all do. And that's going to be happening at the conference hotel. So invest in yourself. And for those of you that are local, give yourself a little staycation and spend at least 1 or 2 nights at the venue. Okay. Because if you think driving there and coming there 30 minutes before the event starts and leaving and soon the event's over, you're missing out on a lot of the extracurricular activities that are happening. So give yourself what you deserve. Invest in yourself fully, okay? Stay at the venue hotel to 10x and maximize your experience. So with that, I just want to thank you again for being here tonight, and thank you in advance for trusting us to put on an amazing 3-day event that's going to transform your life, and for the platinum ticket holders, a 4-day event. So with that, I'm going to say, see you later, and thank you and good night. Bye for now.